It's the white sound.
Watching right now. I remain Bartholomew White, and to the episode of the program promised to be entertaining. We have a very special and a huge topic that we have going to look at today. I'm not alone in the studio, as you can see. I have this beautiful, good-looking, gorgeous lady with me here today, and today we are going to dissect, work down, and review more of what the topic we have today is set before us. The topic said sex before marriage. Is it wrong or right? Just like I said, I'm not doing this alone. Just as we can see, I have a guest today, and today she will take our time to lecture us on her own personal idea why it is wrong or why it is right that we should do with sex before marriage. Yes, my guest for today goes by the name Patient. Patience, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you for
So, how's life with you?
thank you.
Okay, before we really go deep, Patient is a real estate consultant. At the same time, an HR in one of these big organizations in Nigeria. So, what are you waiting for? If you want to, you're looking at buying properties in Lagos, you're looking at you want to buy land, you want to buy house, all the big things that people are spending money on in Lekki today. Please contact Patience is here. But at the end of the day, we'll drop her contact and also more details about her on the video. Then you get to reach her when you are looking at getting things, tips of what her own field in other part apart from the program today. Okay, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes. On the other side, the program we have before us today says sex before marriage. Is it wrong or right? Let's start with that first.
Okay, so when we talk about sex before marriage, it's kind of relative. More when we say okay, so morally, what we say is wrong, and coming from the relationship perspective, what we say is actually right. So it's relative.
It's okay. It's relative. It is wrong to have sex before marriage, and at the same time, it is also good to have sex before marriage.
Exactly.
So, how are you going to help us to put this in different roles?
Okay, so basically, like I said, morally, we're Christians, and the Bible tells us that sex before marriage is wrong. We should keep away from fornication. Just by looking at a lady, you've committed fornication already. So that's morally, it's wrong. So now coming back to the relationship aspect, the relationship perspective, how do you actually know that you're compatible with your spouse? How do you know that let's be adults, yeah? That this person can satisfy you sexually. We've seen a lot of people or cases where they will say no sex before marriage. At the end of the day, they go into this marriage without sex or without getting to know each other properly. And after a month or two, you hear, okay, I want to divorce my husband, I want to divorce my wife because of infidelity issues and all that. So it's quite dicey in the world we find ourselves today. And coming from saying the medical perspective, I would say is right because you actually need to be compatible for marriage to work. And sex is a very important tool when it comes to marriage or relationship. For a marriage to work, if you, for example, you marry a man that is sexually active and the woman is not sexually active, that is already a problem and a very big red flag. So we'll continue talking about this and let's hear people's opinion. We'll be reading the comments, viewing what you have to say as well.
Yeah, thanks for that. We'll be reading your comments and review. Somebody joined, I don't know why the person left. Please, if you're coming in, please help to share more so we have people get to see what we're doing here. We've seen cases, just like you said, we've seen cases where someone will tell you, I married a man who is every day and night we must have sex. And I'm not that kind of a person. We've seen a case where the man will come and tell you, my wife or my girlfriend is sex addict, so I can't do with this person. Every human being will know that having sex has to do with a really whole lot of energy. So if you don't have the energy, you can't really go far. You understand? Now, what would be your advice to people who are in this circle, whereby the man is a sex addict and the woman is not, or the woman is a sex addict while the man is not?
Thank you. Okay, so basically, first, you need to understand your spouse. Very important. What are the things that he or she likes during sex or love making, as the case may be? Do what turns the person on? What's the mood? Do you understand? These things are very important. I'll tell you something. Like a lot of women actually don't get to come when it comes to sexual intercourse just because they don't want to bruise their men's ego. They try to pretend and all that. So now, as a man, how do you make sure that your partner gets there? It's not just about having sex. I want to have sex with this person. I want to have sex. I want to have sex. Does your partner really get satisfied in the process? These are things that you need to put into consideration. So, firstly, you need to understand your partner's body. In understanding your partner's body, you need to communicate. Communication is very important. Communication is key in every relationship. So you don't have to hide anything from your spouse or your partner, your husband, as the case may be. So you need to talk about these things. If it's something you need to see a counselor, you can see a counselor. There are sex therapists, that you can pay to get help and all that. I don't believe there are some people that are hyperactive when it comes to sex. Yeah. So if such a person, like I said earlier, marries somebody that is not sexually active, it becomes a problem. So it's good for you to understand and know your sexual compatibility so that you don't fall short, or like I also said earlier, talk about these things. It's important to talk. Have a genuinely sincere heart-to-heart conversation with your partner to understand the process and what he or she needs to make this relationship work.
In a case, what we're saying, we're trying to advise people who are on the journey, like for people who are already in. I say this every time. When I was doing radio back in 2014, no, 2016, into 2017, um, a woman called on the show and said she actually came, she actually brought it up before, after the show. She said, my husband my husband don't have strength. Do you understand? It was on the program. She said, my husband don't have strength. So because the marriage was a marriage program, and psychologically you know where she's going. She said, my husband don't have strength. I just decide all along not to cheat on him. If not, I have several opportunities to have cheated on my husband, to cheat on my husband, and I would have done that. But he doesn't have strength. Now, the question now is, for people who are facing this, how are they going to make sure they get out of that bus? Do you
Okay.
understand? Okay, if we are telling people who are already in, this is how but people who are planning to go in. I'm not married now. I look up for to see that come through someday by the grace of God. Now I'm taking it as an advice. But for people who are already in, so what would be your little piece of advice to them?
Okay, so for people who are already in, like I said, from the story you just related, your husband doesn't have strength. One, diet goes a long way when it comes to sexual functionality. What kind of diet is your spouse taking? Can this person go to the hospital and be reviewed medically that he or she is fit? If not, then if the person is not fit, there are medications that the doctor will prescribe for this person to help the person. Also, physical exercise. Exercising is very important in our day-to-day life. Whether you are